Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today I will be going over the best teams for every S rank character in Zenless Zone Zero. Before we get into today's video though, comment which character so far is your favorite. For me, it would have to be Ellen and Lucy. I love Ellen's attacks, they're just so cool, and then Lucy's boars are just so freaking adorable when they're just attacking the enemy on the field. So those would have to be my two picks, and if you guys enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe to win your next 50-50 in Zenless. Leave a like to support the video, and now let's get straight into it. To begin, let's go over our first S rank of today's video, which will be none other than Ellen. Ellen is an ice attack type character who focuses on dealing massive ice damage onto enemies with her flash freeze stack mechanic, as well as her ultimate, EX special, and so on. Ellen benefits the most from team members that will allow her to dish out as much damage as possible when she's on the field. For a general team archetype with Ellen, going with a stun and support character alongside her is a very strong option. Your stun character will prioritize on building the daze meter onto an enemy, while your support will buff the team, and then Ellen can take advantage of the additional damage when an enemy is stunned. And also, depending on the team, you might have also built up Ice Anomaly onto that enemy, which now Ellen can deal even more damage by shattering the enemy. One of Ellen's best teams is Ellen, Lycaon, and Sokaku, with Shark Boo or Butler as your Bang Boo option, and if you don't have them, you can use the A rank Penguin Boo. You can start off the fight by getting some Flash Freeze stacks for Ellen to use her Flash Freeze stacks after an enemy is stunned, and you initiate your chain attack rotation to deal as much damage as possible. An example of this can be Lycaon quickly building up daze on an enemy to stun them. You then will be able to go into Sokaku to get her buffs, and then Ellen will be able to deal a bunch of damage immediately, either with her ultimate if you have it active, her EX special attacks, or of course her basic attacks powered up with her flash freeze stacks. The reason Lycaon is one of Ellen's best partners is because of the fact that he'll be able to of course stun enemies to begin your chain attack, but he's also able to lower the ice resistance of an enemy and can increase the stun damage multiplier when an enemy is stunned. This is highly beneficial for the team's damage output, especially Ellen's. As for Sokaku, she'll be able to provide buffs for Ellen, which consists of passing a massive attack buff to Ellen, either from a quick assist or chain attack, and also being able to increase the ice damage of the team. For the team's order, you'll want Ellen first, Lycaon in the middle, and then Sokaku at the end. Sokaku being at the end is good since a quick assist is passed onto the next ally to the right of the character in the team setup. Since Sokaku is in the third slot, it'll end up passing back over to Ellen, which now allows Ellen to fully take advantage of the buffs that Sokaku can provide from either a chain attack rotation or of course a quick assist. As for alternative teams, one team I would recommend is Ellen, Sokaku, and Ambi as a free-to-play team. Similar concept to the Lycaon version of this team, Ambi will focus on stunning enemies. Plus, now you have an electric character on the team, you can have cases of disorder, which is when two attribute anomalies occur. As for a third team, you can use Ellen, Sokaku, and Rina. Since Rina and Sokaku are support characters, you'll be able to take advantage of their quick assists, which can allow you to have good uptime on the buffs that they provide for Ellen's damage output. Rina will be able to provide pen ratio for the team when her puppets are on the field, and if you do take advantage of using quick assist, chain attacks, and so on, you'll be able to have high uptime on the pen ratio buff for the team, as you'll be able to have a high uptime on the puppets being out on the field. As for what pen ratio provides and why it matters, it will allow you to ignore enemy defenses, which is definitely useful for higher damage output onto enemies. Plus, similar to Ambi, since Rina is electric, she can help trigger disorder onto enemies. Overall, there are nice team options you can use with Ellen, and she will be an excellent DPS to help you power through content. For our next S rank, we have Soldier 11. Soldier 11 is a fire attack character who specializes in dealing strong fire damage to enemies with her attacks and taking advantage of triggering fire suppression in her skill kit. As for what fire suppression is, it'll allow her basic attacks to be imbued with fire, and she'll be able to dish out nice fire damage. There are a few ways to go about this, which consists of timing her basic attacks or using her EX special, ultimate, and chain attack for 8 basic attacks to be imbued with fire. I go over this more in depth in my previous video, as well as other useful tips, so make sure to check out that video after this one. As for why you'll want to trigger fire suppression, you'll have a higher damage multiplier with her basic attacks. And her core passive Heat Wave will increase the damage of the basic attacks and dash attacks by 35% when she triggers fire suppression. As for her team members, one team I really like is Soldier 11, Koleda, and Lucy with Rocket Boo or Cry Boo as your Bang Boo option. Koleda will be able to stun enemies and boost the chain attack damage of the team with her additional ability. As for Lucy, she'll be able to allow you to take advantage of quick assists, and she can boost the attack of the entire team with her skill kit. Plus, her boars are super cute and also deal damage to enemies as well. As for alternative teams, you could do Soldier 11, Koleda, and Ben, as Koleda has special combos with Ben, and this team will be able to stun enemies very fast with a combination of Koleda and Ben's skill kits. Ben will be able to provide the team shields, which adds additional comfortability as well. Another team you can do is Soldier 11, Piper, and Lucy. Piper will be able to trigger the physical attribute anomaly, while Lucy and Soldier 11 can contribute towards triggering fire attribute anomaly. Plus, Piper can also provide the team a damage increase as well. You can use Soldier 11, Lucy, and Ben as a very nice free-to-play friendly team. Of course, there are more team options you can potentially use, but I thought I'd give my top recommendations for Soldier 11 in particular. For our next S rank, we have Nekomata, who is a physical attack character. Nekomata deals very fast physical damage and is able to easily position herself when fighting an enemy by holding her basic attack. Nekomata will increase her damage whenever she uses a dodge counter or a quick assist onto an enemy, and whenever an enemy is inflicted with assault, Nekomata's next EX special attack will be buffed. When it comes to team comps, I personally like a team of Nekomata, Piper, and Lucy, with your Bang Boo of choice for Nekomata teams being Bang Volver or Bag Boo. Piper is able to easily trigger physical attribute anomaly, and she can buff the team's damage. Piper being able to easily trigger assaults can benefit Nekomata's EX special attack damage, and Lucy can provide the team attack to further increase the damage potential for the team. And Lucy also being able to trigger quick assists will allow Nekomata to quickly re-enter the field and also have a damage increase from her core passive, as I mentioned earlier. As for additional teams you could do with Nekomata, a free-to-play team would be Nekomata, Ambi, and Nicole. And you can also use the Bang Boo a million whenever you have 2 or more cunning hairs on a team. As for the free-to-play team, Ambi will be able to stun enemies, Nicole can debuff enemy defenses, as well as provide quick assists for Nekomata to be able to take advantage of for her core passive, and then Nekomata can deal a bunch of damage to enemies. It's a pretty straightforward and free team comp you can use. If you have Lycaon or Koleda, you can use them as your stun character, but do keep in mind of potentially not being able to trigger their additional abilities depending on who the third slot on the team is. For our next character, we have Grace. Grace is a lightning anomaly character who's able to build up a bunch of attribute anomaly onto enemies with her fast mobility and taking advantage of her core passive, which involves her zap stack and having increased electric anomaly buildup, as well as her additional ability increasing shock damage to an enemy upon hitting them with her EX special attack. For one of the teams you can use with Grace, you can use Grace, Koleda, and Rina, and for your Bang Boo, you can use Plug Boo, Safety, or Electro Boo. Grace will be the main damage dealer in this team, and you'll use Koleda's abilities to quickly stun enemies to trigger chain attacks often. Rina will be able to provide the team pen ratio, quick assists into Grace, but also be able to buff the electric damage of the team when enemies are shocked. This can benefit Grace's damage output, of course, as she'll be shocking enemies very quickly and very frequently. If you trigger Fire Anomaly with Koleda, you'll now be able to trigger Disorder onto enemies. As for other teams you could do, it could be Anton, Grace, and Rina. Anton will be your main damage dealer, Grace will be your sub DPS or secondary DPS of the team, and of course, Rina will buff the team with the buffs I just mentioned a little bit ago. As for a completely free-to-play team, you can go with Grace, Ambi, and Nicole. Grace will be your main damage dealer who will trigger shock often onto enemies, Ambi will stun enemies, and Nicole will be able to reduce enemy defenses and allow quick assists into Grace. I can also see Piper and Grace being an option to abuse Disorder and triggering attribute anomaly, but the main issue is that you won't be able to get every character's additional ability active on this team. I will say though, I can see Grace having more synergies with characters once we have more characters who abuse attribute anomaly and have a fast build-up like how she does. It can honestly make for some super strong Disorder teams. Next, we have Koleda. Koleda is a fire stun character who is able to quickly build up daze onto enemies, increase chain attack damage for the team, She can launch her skill faster and deal an explosion when she uses her special attacks after her second or fourth basic attack. She'll also be able to launch an enhanced basic attack when she has Furnace Fire active. And lastly, she has special combos with our most lovable bear, Ben. When it comes to team comps, I mentioned a few of them earlier, but you can use Soldier 11, Koleda and Ben, Soldier 11, Koleda and Lucy, or using an Assault Disorder team which can consist of Piper, Koleda, and Lucy. I would recommend using a Rocket Boo or Cry Boo as your Bang Boo option. You can use Koleda as a general stun character on numerous team comps as she'll allow you to quickly build up daze onto an enemy, and she can also deal her own fair share of damage. Next up we have Lycaon. Lycaon is an ice stun character, and he is able to quickly stun enemies, increase the stun damage multiplier when an enemy is stunned, which means your team will deal even more damage to that enemy now. And Lycaon can also reduce the ice resistance of an enemy with his EX special attack or assist follow-up attack. Just as a general tip with Lycaon, you'll want to take advantage of his charged basic attacks in order to deal more daze to enemies. I would recommend Lycaon on the Ellen team I mentioned earlier, and he can also be a great option on a Corrin team. Corrin is able to deal more damage to stun enemies with her additional ability, which pairs very nicely with Lycaon's kit. The team would be Corrin as your main damage dealer, Lycaon as your stun character, and when it comes to your option for a third slot, if you do go with a supportive character, I would recommend Sokaku or Rina if you do have her. Similar to Koleda, Lycaon can be used as a general stun character for your teams, as he'll be able to get the job done very effectively. And if you do pair him with a character of his attribute or faction, he'll always be able to increase the target's stun damage multiplier with his additional ability being active. We're nearing the end of today's video, which if you guys made it this far, comment down below. Let's go with glazed donuts for today. Aside from that though, now we have Rina, who's an electric support character and currently our only S-rank support character in the game so far. Rina will be able to use her puppets Drusilla and Anastella to attack enemies from a distance, and her supportive capabilities consist of giving the entire team pen ratio when her puppets are on the field, increasing the electric damage of the team, providing quick assist, which will be useful for keeping the puppets on field for the pen ratio buff, but also allowing easy entry for your main damage dealer with the quick assist. Rina can be a pretty flexible option for team comps, as she'll be able to provide the pen ratio buff for any team that she is on, and her quick assists are very useful. Some team comps can consist of using her on an electric centric team so that she can further buff the electric damage of the team on top of her pen ratio buffs. You can put her alongside any of the Victoria housekeeping characters to trigger their core passives with ease, and another team example can consist of Billy or Corrin as your main damage dealer, Ambi as your stunner, and Rina as your support for a more free-to-play team. Rina is a pretty flexible character for team comps because of her nice supportive capabilities on what she can provide. I thought we can also go over a team concept for Zhu Yuan as well, which I'll make a video about her more in depth very soon. Zhu Yuan is an attack ether character who has high mobility and deals a bunch of ether damage to enemies with her skill kit. A very powerful free-to-play team concept for Zhu Yuan can be Zhu Yuan as your main damage dealer, Ambi as a stunner, and then Nicole as your support. Nicole will be able to trigger Zhu Yuan's core passive, and Nicole can improve Zhu Yuan's damage potential as she can reduce enemy defenses and also apply a debuff to enemies that'll make them take increased ether damage. Ambi will be your stunner of the team, who can help trigger powerful chain attacks and also contribute to building electric attribute anomaly and trigger disorder, as Zhu Yuan and Nicole will be able to build up ether anomaly. As for your Bang Boo of choice, you'll want to go with Resna Boo or Devil Boo. Overall, Zhu Yuan looks like she'll be a great ether DPS, and it seems like in 1.1 we will be getting another character from her faction, which can further open up team building with Zhu Yuan. That'll be all though for my team recommendations for every S rank in the game. There are of course more team comps you can do and mess around with, but I wanted to give my top recommendations. Let me know what team or even teams you guys have been working on in Zenless so far, and how you all have been enjoying the game. I personally have been loving it, and lastly, if you guys did enjoy this video, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and stay tuned for character showcases, guides, and much more. I hope to see you all next time. Peace.